Welcome to another miraculous edition of the Corey Margera Show. I'm your host, your Lord and Savior of Eternal Coolness, Corey Margera. And in this video, I wanted to do a discussion, if you will. Kind of ask a question, a simple question. Why was the PS3 hated so much this past generation, the seventh generation? Why? I mean, to me, it was really, it made no sense. I mean, and yes, as you can see in the picture here, that is my PS3. It's on my bed. I have obviously my blue controller. It's my, I told you guys before, blue is my favorite color. That is my PS3 on the bed right there. If you've seen my PS2 and 3 collection videos, you could tell by my sheets that, yes, that is my bed. Um, well, wait, did I have the sheets, or were they in the laundry that day? I don't know. I forgot. They might have been in the laundry that day, but yes, this is my bed. That is my PS3 in the picture right there. Blue controller and everything. That's my baby right there. And, this is going to be a discussion pretty much about why this console was so hated during that generation. Now, some people can argue that Sony fanboys were the worst, and you're not too far off on that. Sony fanboys and fangirls are some of the most anal people in the entire universe. I mean, this is someone who can't stand fanboys in general. I think probably the Nintendo fans, the Nintendo fanboys, and the fans are probably the most likable gamers, if there were fanboys on the planet. Same with the Sega fanboys. Sega fanboys were cool too. Some of them have carried on to other platforms now. Some of them went to Nintendo. Some of them went to PlayStation and Xbox. But, the Sony fans have always been the most ghetto. They've always been the most just they have been a real pain in the ass, and it's been my displeasure to be a part of the same community as them. Obviously, I chose the PS3, but let me tell you a little background story of how I got my PS3 back in 2008. Initially, I love the PS2. I told you in my PS2 video, my PS2 retrospective video, why I love the PS2 and why I thought it was the best. You know, but I honestly started losing interest when the 360 came out, because literally the 360 had rumors of them coming out with a new Perfect Dark game. Obviously, at the time, I was a huge Halo fan, so I heard Halo 3 was going to come out. I saw a trailer for Gears of War. I saw, this was back when G4 Tech TV was still good, when they showed E3. And, the PS3 conference was pretty cool, too. They showed, like, a new Killzone game, how realistic the graphics looked at the time for the trailer for Killzone 2, and a bunch of other stuff. But I was honestly more interested in the Xbox 360. For one was because E3 2005, they showed the Boomerang controller, and I thought that they were just going to stick with the PlayStation, which they ended up doing anyway. But they showed that gay, ugly looking Boomerang controller, and I was like, wow, the console itself looks cool, because they showed a silver PS3, and that's the one I really wish that they would have launched with. Nothing against the black PS3. I love the black PS3. I love its glossy, sexy look to it, but it's just like, I really wish they would have launched the silver PS3 that Ken Kutaragi originally showed in at E3 2005. But, it was what it was. I heard you can import a silver PS3 from Japan. I know there's some limited editions of the silver PS3, which are very hard to find. But, And some of them are overpriced because I checked on eBay and they're just really overpriced. But yeah, but basically, I was more interested in the Xbox 360 at the time. Halo 3, the new Perfect Dark Zero that was coming out, which I would find out later, which it was an okay game. It wasn't as bad as people say it was, but it definitely did not live up to the original Perfect Dark for the N64. I'm sorry, it did not. The graphics were okay, for the time, for a launch game. The weapons were awesome. I love that they brought back the laptop gun. I love that, unlike Halo, you got to play with bots and multiplayer if you didn't have Xbox Live. But the game itself was just it was missing a lot. It just felt like it was missing a lot. It just didn't feel good. It wasn't as good as the N64 version. It was cool, but it wasn't great. To me, Perfect Dark for the N64 is still one of my favorite shooters of all time, favorite FPS games of all time. And Perfect Dark Zero was a huge letdown, but it was still pretty decent. And of course, Quake 4, because again, was not part of the master race. Did not own a P. Had a PC. I have a PC. Had a PC, but again, it was shit. It was old. It definitely would not be able to run Quake 4 on maximum settings, or at least decent enough settings. So the 360 was my best bet if I wanted to play Quake 4. And I'm a huge fan of Quake. I love the Quake games. Loved Quake 3 Arena on the Dreamcast, Quake 2, Quake 1. Loved the Quake series. Love id Software back then too. John Carmack back then was the fucking man. He knew what he was doing. id Software knew what they were doing. Doom and Quake were the shit. But yeah, I mean, Quake 4, Perfect Dark Zero, a new Halo game, that Halo 3, these are all reasons to want to get an Xbox 360. And I even played Dead or Alive 4, which I ended up getting. I had Dead or Alive 3 for the original Xbox. Loved it. Dead or Alive 4 was amazing. Love the DOA chicks. I swear, if I can make a real life hentai porn, like real life, with real people, and I could find a chick that looked like a real life Kasumi with a nice little butt, nice big butt, nice tits, same. I swear to God, man, that would be the best. But I'm not gonna tell you about my personal pleasures and fantasies over the internet. But yeah, I did like Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive and Virtual Fighter were way better than Tekken. I don't give a fuck when anyone says Tekken is overrated. Dead or Alive and Virtual Fighter are way better fighting games. Not my favorites, but way better. And Xbox 360 had Dead or Alive 4, so I was hyped for that. I also heard you could unlock what looked like Master Chief, but it ended up being a Spartan in that game. So basically, you could play with the Spartan from Halo and Dead or Alive 4 once you lock her, and that was actually really fucking awesome. And yeah, the Xbox 360 was just a really cool console when it first came out, and I honestly wasn't thinking about getting the PS3 because I would later find out it would be $600. Um, there wasn't that many good games at launch. I still thought it was a cool console, but I just at first, it was just $600. That's just too much. And then, a few years go by, enjoy my 360 a little, but I keep having hardware problems. Basically, much to my dismay, my Xbox 360 scratched up one of my games. It wasn't a game that I really played a lot, but it was a game that I ended up getting. Rumble Roses Double X for the Xbox 360. I ended up scratching the hell out of that game. Ironically, though, it still played the game. Even though it scratched the game, it scratched the disc, it still played in the 360. It still worked for some reason. I don't know why. It still worked. Um, but I was just having a lot of problems. I didn't like how noisy the 360 was. The fan, it was just so damn noisy. It was just like, holy crap, like, why can't this system be more quiet? Like the PS2 and the other consoles that I had. It was annoying to have a console that was that noisy. I don't know if it was the fan or the motherboard, whatever. I think it was the fan. The console was just so noisy. And this was a huge relief when I finally got the PS3. But before I get into that, long story short, I ended up pre-ordering Gears of War 2 and Sonic Unleashed for the Xbox 360. I was really hyped for both of those games back in 2008, and I really wanted them. But long story short, my Xbox 360 gave me the red ring of death in 2008. And by the time it gave me the red ring of death, I had found out that there were going to be a lot of changes to Xbox. Especially if you had Xbox Live, you had to download this new patch, which they got rid of the blade system, which I enjoyed. I love the blade system, but basically they got rid of it, and we started having these stupid little avatars that look like the Mii's from the Wii, and I thought that was really gay, really stupid. And after that, after I got the red ring of death, I ended up, because it was still in warranty. Like if you got the red ring of death, Microsoft would repair it for you free of cost. You just ship it to them, and they ship it back to you in like 2 weeks or something like that. And during that time, I was just playing my PS2. I ended up going back to my PS2 and my N64 when my 360 was getting repaired. And, long story short, I was just watching. This is when I was starting to watch El Presador's Trey Brotherhood videos. And, there were a lot of. This is also after Metal Gear Solid 4 came out. Resistance 2 looked. I ended up playing Resistance 2 at a friend's house. It was absolutely amazing. I loved it. I thought it was way better than Halo. I thought it was just an amazing shooter. Um, Rumors about a new God of War game coming out for the PS3. I ended up playing Devil May Cry 4 for the PS3, which was way better on the PS3 than it was the Xbox 360. And, long story short, I just ended up getting a PS3. When I got my Xbox 360 back, I basically sold it, used the money, and saved up some money as well for my job at the time. Basically, I just put the money together, bought a PS3 for like $400, and I never looked back. I never got it. I just never went back. I ended up playing Gears of War 2. Thought it was amazing. Wished it was on the PS3. Loved Gears of War 2. But aside from that, and of course, Halo 4 was actually pretty sweet too, but nothing that made me want to go back to Xbox. Nothing. And to me, this story is kind of like the PS1 N64 story, because I had the PS1 first, and then I ended up getting the N64 later and loved it way more than the PS1. It's just so funny too, because I can compare the PS3 to the N64, and how the N64 was completely trashed during that generation by a lot of Sony fanboys. And, a lot of people that just said, oh, the N64 sucked and has kiddie games, and they didn't use CDs, unlike the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn and the Sega Dreamcast. And it sucked, and it was this and that. And I was just like, fuck you, you faggots. It had great games. It had Super Smash Brothers. It had No Mercy. It had GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Conker's Bad Fur Day. It had so many kick-ass games, so why don't you just shut the fuck up and go die or something? That's basically what I was saying, because the N64 was fucking awesome. And the PS3 is fucking awesome, which is why I want to ask the question in this video. Why does the PS3 get so much hate? Like, why did it get so much hate during the 7th generation, during the last gen? Why do people hate it so much? I see so many people saying that PlayStation 3 sucks, PS3 sucks, this and that. Xbox 360 is better. There's a lot of people who love the PS2 say like, "Oh, the PS3 sucks. It's not as good as the PS2 was," which I can see where some people are coming from with that. Personally, I love the PS3 and the PS2. Um, PS2 I might love a little bit more, but I love the PS3 almost as much as the PS2. Really, this to me this was an excellent console. I don't know what people hate it for. This console is fucking awesome. You know, I mean, you have an internet browser built in. You have built-in Wi-Fi. You have fucking. You could play with up to four control. You could like literally. Me and my cousin for Thanksgiving. That's why I haven't made videos in the past few days because I was up in Riverhead, up in Long Island, with celebrating Thanksgiving with my cousins and family and stuff. And we were playing four player on well, we were three player because I didn't have a fourth PS3 controller. But it could have been four players if we had one. And we were playing WWE 2K14, and it was just all three of us. So, like, and literally, if I had an extra controller, my other cousin could have played, but we ended up taking turns. And I might have to eventually get a fourth PS3 controller. It's pretty soon. I might get a silver one. But I mean, you could play up to four players on this. This is unlike the PS2 and the PS1 with the multi-tab. You could play up to four players with this thing, except with like shooters, because of the rise and overratedness of online gaming. People ended up ditching the split screen feature. I mean, I'm glad that it is back in some games, most notably GoldenEye Reloaded for the PS3, but it needs to come back full time, not just in a few games. I mean, it needs to come back in like almost every game. This includes Call of Duty, which I do not like, but still, it needs to come back. Four-player split screen needs to come back. Or at the very least, two-player split screen, which is in Resistance 3. You can do two-player split screen in Resistance 3, which is really cool. Me and my cousin were playing co-op on that last night, actually. We were both in the same room. Didn't have to be online. It was offline. We were both in the same room. And, it was really cool. But, to me, this console is just I know this video is already 17 minutes long. And it might be a little longer. So bear with me. But to me, the PS3 was the best console of the 7th generation. The Xbox 360, I already told you why I lost interest in that. It just started to suck. And, it had some cool games, but it started to suck. And the Wii, aside from Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Tatsunoko vs. Capcom and Mad World and a few other games, I did not care about the Wii. I just didn't. I might get one now because I was actually playing Super Smash Bros. Brawl with my cousins last night. And, oh my god, I forgot how much I used to love Super Smash Bros. Back in the day. God, we had such a great time. It was kind of a shitty time. Well, it was a great time, but it was kind of shitty because my cousin kept cheating. And I was like so fucking pissed off, so I started cheating against him. He kept using Kirby, kept sucking me up and shit. He was being a little bitch. But God, I miss Super Smash Bros. Man. I fucking missed that series. I might have to get a Wii or a Wii U now. I'm definitely gonna get a Wii U because I want to play the new Super Smash Bros. Which we played. They had it. Because they had it for the Wii U, and we were playing, and I was like so pissed off, like how they fucked up Mega Man in that game. They fucked up Mega Man in the new Super Smash Bros. He is not that good in that game. But, I ended up going back to my personal favorites, Marth and Sonic. Those are like my two favorites. I changed up every once in a while. Played as Samus, and I wanted to play as Charizard, but I never got a chance to. Because I was basically just trying to win. Because my cousin was being an asshole, and I'm really good with Marth and Sonic. So, long story short. But, why does the PS3 get so much hate? I mean, it's my favorite console of this generation. Um, it had just so many great games. Mortal Kombat 9 for the PS3 is the best version. It's way better than the 360 version. Um, Batman Arkham Asylum, the first one, that was better for the PS3 because you got to play as the Joker. There was just so many cool things about the PS3. Blu-ray, DVD playback. The only thing that really pissed me off about, the only two things that pissed me off about the PS3 were the fact that you couldn't play music in all the games, unlike the 360, which you can like listen to music on your hard drive in any game. The PS3 you couldn't do that, and that pissed me off. And I was pissed off with Sony for not releasing like a patch or update so you can like listen to music in any game whatsoever. So screw you, Sony, for not doing that. Um, and the updates, like you always had to update your system. You always had to install a game or update it, and it was just annoying as fuck. It was just annoying as fuck, and it just pissed me off. Like how you always had to wait for an install or you always had to update your game, and it was annoying. Like why can't you just play the game, put disc in, play the game, just like the old PS2 days and that even with the Xbox 360. And that pissed me off big time. But other than that, I have no complaints about about this system. None. I mean, the games library was just as good as the PS2. Well, maybe not as good as the PS2, but it was really there were a lot of really great games for it. I mean, from WWE 13 to WWE 2K14, to like Mortal Kombat 9 to Sonic Generations, Devil May Cry 4, Devil May Cry HD Collection, Doom, the Doom 3 BFG edition, which I ended up getting because I got rid of my original Xbox, and I love Doom 3, and I love the Doom series in general. Resistance 2, Resistance 3, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, God of War Ascension, God of War 3, you know, just so many great games for the PlayStation 3. I can't even name them all. I have like so many games for the PS3, so many great games I played for the PS3. I honestly don't see why people hate the PS3 and why people give the PS3 so much shit. I can see if like, oh, you like the Xbox 360 better. Um but I mean, to me the PlayStation 3 is just way better. I mean, I love the DualShock controller. I love the DualShock controller. It's the most comfortable. It's one of the most comfortable controllers I ever had. It's right up there with like the SNES controller, the Sega Saturn controller, the GameCube controller, and the Xbox 360 controller. More preferably the wired controller. The wired 360 controller was the best. I did not like that battery pack and the wireless controllers of the 360, and I really wish that they would have made like more of those wired Xbox 360 controllers because those are real comfortable. Those are real good. Like, but the PS3 controller, the DualShock, the PS2, PS3 controllers were just always amazing. They were just real comfortable. You can easily tap any button. Didn't have to stretch your fingers out too much. Nice and small, just like I like them. I like my controllers small. I'm old school. So I do like a small, comfortable controller. I'm not into all that Wii shit, motion controls, none of that crap. None of these big controllers where it's hard to like reach the buttons with your fingers and all that stuff. I like a nice small controller that's easy to control and shit. So the PlayStation controller is just fucking awesome. Um, but the DualShock controllers are fucking awesome. So I mean, like I don't see why there's so much hate on the PS3 or why there was so much hate for the PS3. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a really good looking system. I love it. I love the sexy, glossy glossiness of the PS3, the cool slide in the disc instead of having a disc tray. You just slide the disc right in like it's your fucking car or something. It just the Blu-ray drive. You just slide the disc right in, like you're in your car or something. You just slide the disc in if you wanted to listen to music and stuff. I love that. It's just a cool looking system. I love the logo. I love the PlayStation 3 logo on the system. Reminds me of it looks like the Spider-Man logo almost. I just it's just so shiny and cool looking. It's just such a kick-ass system. I honestly don't know why people hate it. I mean, it's fucking awesome. It's just, but to me personally, it's the best looking system this generation too. I really wish that the silver one would have came out. That would have been like a launch one. I would have got that one instead. But I ended up getting this one. Um, because where I live here in America, it's hard to get like a different color PS3 unless you find like a good bundle or something. So yeah, the black one is the easiest one to find. And I got this one in 2008. So yeah, it's not the slim or anything like that. But it doesn't have PS2 backwards compatibility, which pissed me off. But at the same time, I was like, whatever. Because I usually go back to my PS2 anyway, because I have my memory cards and all my save data for all my games on that anyway. And there's no way you could transfer and I might be wrong, but from what I heard, I can't find any way where you could transfer your PS2 memory card to your data from your PS2 memory cards onto your PS3 anyway. There probably is something like that, but I never seen it. I don't know about it, and it's never been popularized enough for me to even care or know about it. So yeah. And that's why I basically go back to my PS2 Slim if I want to play PS2 games. So, but yeah, I mean this console is just really. I thought it was way better than the Wii, way better than the 360. Um, it's definitely my favorite console out of the seventh generation. Personally, for so many reasons, the internet browser. I remember when my laptop broke, I was using my PS3 just to go online, just to go on YouTube and stuff, just to reply to comments and stuff like that. So, PS3 has definitely helped me out a lot as far as, technologically speaking, video game wise. I've definitely this is probably my second favorite Sony video game console right after the PS2. I love it. I don't know why people hate it. I don't know why people bitch about it and say, it's not as good as the PS2 or all this stuff. I mean, to me, it's excellent. It's a true successor. It's a great successor to the PS2. Um, could have been a little better, but for the most part, it was amazing. I mean, to me personally, for the most part, it's amazing. And I just wanted to get my 2 cents out there because to me, this console is just so overhated, and to me, it really just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I can see why you hated it at first because it was $600, and Sony was a fool to launch it at that price at the same time. But looking back on it, it was the cheapest Blu-ray player on the market, and they eventually dropped the price anyway. So I mean, why hate it just for that? I mean, the system is just so amazing, so unique, it has so many great features. So that's just my thoughts on it. This video is going on to be like almost half an hour, almost 30 minutes. So I just want to wrap it up here. Basically, let me know your thoughts, what you think about the PS3. What are your experiences? Do you love the PS3? Do you hate it? Um, Explain why in the comments, why you love it or why you hate it. Subscribe, all that good shit. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, guys, this is Corey Margera. Later.